Far beyond the edge of any map, where birch trees twist into haunting silhouettes and fog never lifts from the forest floor, there lies a realm untouched by time. This is the dark heart of Eastern Europe, the boundless wilderness of ancient Slavic lands, stretching through Russia, Poland, Ukraine, and beyond. And somewhere within those woods stands a hut unlike any other. Its crooked timbers groan like old bones, and its thatched roof seems to breathe. Beneath it, two enormous chicken legs, yellowed and scaly, clawing into the damp earth. The entire house sways, turning and shifting, as if alive, as if watching. Those who wander too far into these forests sometimes claim they've seen it, a shadowed hut that moves when no wind blows, turning its door away from prying eyes. To the people of old, this sight was unmistakable. It meant only one thing. You have entered the domain of Baba Yaga. She is one of the most powerful and feared figures in Slavic mythology. A witch, yes, but not the kind found in fairy tales. Baba Yaga is ancient as the forest itself, neither purely wicked nor kind. She can devour lost travelers or guide heroes to their destiny. Her mood shifts like the wind, her power as unpredictable as the storm. They call her the Witch of the Wilderness, the Mistress of Magic, the Keeper of Life and Death. Some say she is a single being. Others whisper she is three sisters sharing one name and one will. She rides not on a broom, but in a mortar, steering with a pestle, sweeping her tracks away with a broom of silver birch. Her laughter echoes through the woods, half human, half animal, sending chills through the hearts of even the bravest souls. But for all her terror, there is something far stranger. Her home. A hut on chicken legs that dances through the forest. A dwelling that turns its door to the worthy and its back to the damned. Is it merely her house, her hiding place in the wild? Or is it something greater, something alive, bound to her very soul? The mystery of Baba Yaga's hut has endured for centuries, a living riddle whispered through generations. And tonight, we step inside her forest to uncover the secrets of the house that walks.
Why? Chicken legs? It's one of the strangest images in all of folklore. A house perched high on the legs of a bird, clawed and restless, scratching at the soil of the forest. To some, it's pure madness, but to those who understand the old ways, it is a sign of deep, ancient meaning. The Slavic peoples once believed the world itself was layered. The realm of the living, the underworld of the dead, and the heavens above, where spirits and gods walked. Between them stood the shaman, the one who could cross boundaries. And so, Baba Yaga's hut stands not on solid ground, but above it, suspended between worlds, like a shaman's sacred totem. Neither bound to the living nor the dead, but resting on the very line that divides them. Others say its legs are a memory, an echo of the past. In ancient villages, huts were sometimes built on stilts or tall posts to guard against wolves, thieves, and spirits. Perhaps long ago, the myth took on a life of its own, growing feathers, talons, and a hunger for mystery. But in the stories, the hut doesn't simply stand. It moves. It wanders. It turns its back to those who are unworthy and its door to those who dare to speak the spell. Hut, hut, turn your back to the forest and your front to me. The ground trembles. Roots and branches twist. The legs bend and creak as the house obeys, slowly turning, revealing its doorway, like a creature acknowledging your presence. It is said that the hut can vanish in an instant, swallowed by fog or darkness, only to reappear miles away. No mortal can track it, no map can mark it. It comes and goes as Baba Yaga wills, as if it were alive, an extension of her own restless soul. And around this living house stretches a fence of human bones, white as snow, gleaming in the dim forest light. Upon the posts sit skulls, their hollow eyes glowing with cold blue fire. They are not mere decoration. Each skull, it is said, once belonged to a traveler who failed her test. Now they stand guard, lighting the night and warning the living. Here ends the path of the living. Beyond this gate lies the realm of the witch. Everything about the hut defies understanding. Its crooked windows stare like eyes, its chimney breathes like a sleeping beast, its walls whisper in the wind. Some say it chooses whom to shelter and whom to consume. Is it home or guardian, prison or gate? No one truly knows. But one thing is certain, Baba Yaga's hut is no mere house. It is a living threshold, a being of wood and bone that stands between worlds, waiting for the brave or the doomed to knock upon its door. Baba Yaga's hut is no simple home. It breathes, it listens, it tests. Its wooden bones creak in the stillness of the forest, as though whispering secrets to the trees. The smoke that curls from its crooked chimney smells not of firewood, but of herbs, iron, and magic. Those who stumble upon it rarely mean to. They are lost travelers, desperate wanderers, or seekers of forbidden wisdom. And when they find it, the hut stands silent, its chicken legs folded beneath it, its windows watching. To the foolish, it appears lifeless. But those who dare to speak the old incantation know better. Hut, hut, turn your back to the forest and your front to me. At those words, the ground quakes. The hut groans, and with a shudder like a waking beast, it begins to move. The claws scrape the earth, turning the entire structure as if obeying an unseen command. Then, the door faces you, waiting. But make no mistake, the hut does not open for everyone. It is said that the house itself senses intent. It can smell lies, taste fear, and hear the beating of your heart. If your soul is pure or desperate enough, it may allow you to enter. If you carry greed or deceit, the door may remain shut forever, or worse, open only to swallow you whole. Some legends claim the hut's interior is vast, far larger than it appears from outside. Inside, corridors twist and shift like a living maze. Shadows take shape, whispering questions. The air hums with ancient power. In one corner, a fire burns by itself, its flames blue and cold. In another, shelves overflow with strange herbs, bones, and bottled souls. Many who enter seek answers, truths only Baba Yaga can give. But to reach her, they must first survive the trial of the hut. Because the house does not simply shelter the witch, it tests those who come to find her. It is her first guardian, her mirror, and her weapon. Some storytellers believe the hut is alive because it is bound to Baba Yaga's spirit, forged from her own magic and will. Others whisper that the witch herself once called it into being, breathing life into dead wood and feather, binding it with spells older than time. To the wise, the hut is a liminal space, a place between worlds, where the rules of life and death no longer apply. Step across its threshold and you step out of reality. Inside, time bends. The forest outside may wither while a single night passes within. For the worthy, the hut can be a guide, revealing paths unseen, offering riddles that lead to enlightenment. For the greedy or the cruel, it becomes a trap, a labyrinth of living wood that closes in until the forest claims them. The hut chooses. It decides who lives, who learns, and who is never seen again. So when travelers find it in the depths of the forest, they know what it means. They stand at the crossroads of fate. To knock is to invite the unknown. To enter is to risk everything. Because Baba Yaga's hut is not a house, it is a living spirit of the wild, the forest's judge and gatekeeper, a reflection of the witch's own chaotic power, ancient, untamed, and eternal. The image of Baba Yaga's hut has never faded. Across centuries, across languages and borders, it lingers, an enduring symbol of fear, mystery, and transformation. In Slavic lands, where the tale was born, the hut was never just a witch's home. It was a living symbol of nature's duality, its power to give life and to take it away. The people who first told her stories lived close to the forest. They depended on it for food, shelter, and warmth, yet they also feared it, for within its depths lurked the unknown. Baba Yaga and her walking hut came to embody that balance, the wild, untamable force of the natural world. She punished arrogance, rewarded bravery, and respected only those who approached her with honesty and courage. Her hut stood as the threshold between safety and peril, between civilization and the wilderness, between life and the shadow of death. In some stories, the hut is a trial by fire. Those who enter emerge wiser, transformed, reborn from the darkness. In others, it is a grave, where the forest reclaims those who do not belong. And so, the hut itself became a metaphor, a warning that to face the unknown is to risk being changed by it. Even as the old villages gave way to cities and modernity, the image endured. The bones of folklore were never buried, they simply took new shapes. Today, the house that walks still strides across our imagination. In video games, it stomps through digital forests, sometimes monstrous, sometimes majestic. In films, it rises from mist and shadow, creaking to life as a symbol of power that refuses to die. In literature and fantasy, it stands as a muse for every mysterious dwelling that bends the rules of the world, a home that thinks, moves, and remembers. We see echoes of Baba Yaga's hut in every story, where a threshold leads to transformation, where a hero must cross into the unknown to face themselves. From fairy tale cottages in the woods to haunted houses and portals between realms, her spirit lingers, whispering through the walls. Even the modern fascination with the supernatural, our hunger for hidden magic in a rational world, owes something to her. Because Baba Yaga's hut is not merely a relic of folklore, it is a mirror of our own imagination. It reminds us that we still crave mystery, that we still yearn for the wild to have a voice. And like its mistress, the hut refuses to be tamed or understood. Each retelling gives it new meaning, sometimes a monster, sometimes a guardian, sometimes the forest itself taking shape. It remains both a home and a warning, a place where death and rebirth share the same threshold, where the familiar becomes strange, and where those who seek truth must first surrender to the unknown. The world may change, but Baba Yaga's hut still walks, through the forest of stories, through the imagination of every generation that dares to follow its tracks. What does Baba Yaga's hut truly represent? Why has this strange walking house endured for centuries, haunting the imagination of millions who have never even set foot in the Slavic forests? The answer lies in its symbolism, a mirror of the ancient soul of Eastern Europe. To the Slavs, the forest was both a womb and a tomb. It gave life through its bounty and took life through its dangers. The forest was the realm of spirits, the unknown, and the forgotten gods of the old world. Baba Yaga's hut, standing deep within that forest, became the gateway between civilization and wilderness, between the seen and unseen. Its chicken legs, bizarre as they seem, reflect the totemic symbols of shamanic tradition, a connection to birds, which in Slavic belief could traverse the sky, the earth, and the underworld. To stand on these legs was to rise above mortality, to hover between realms. Its bone fence was not merely decoration, it represented the final boundary between life and death. The glowing skulls upon it were both protection and warning. Every trespasser faces transformation, one way or another. The hut itself embodies liminality, that in-between state where all change happens. Heroes who reach Baba Yaga's domain are always tested. They must pass through her threshold to be reborn, either in wisdom or in ashes. Some folklorists see the hut as a metaphor for initiation, a sacred trial that mirrors ancient rites of passage. To enter the hut is to symbolically die to one's old self, and to emerge, if one survives, as something new. Others see it as a symbol of nature's sovereignty, a reminder that humans are not masters of the wild, but guests within it. The hut walks because the forest cannot be contained. It moves because the sacred refuses to stand still. And so, Baba Yaga's hut remains a paradox. It is home and predator, guardian and executioner, chaos and wisdom intertwined. It is a structure that refuses to obey the rules of human reason, just as nature itself does. To understand it fully would be to strip it of its mystery, and that, perhaps, is the one thing it will never allow. Though born from the whispers of ancient storytellers, Baba Yaga's hut has not remained trapped in the past. It has walked straight into the modern world, finding new forms in film, art, literature, and even music. In cinema, the hut appears again and again, sometimes as a monster, sometimes as a home that remembers. In Russian and Eastern European films, it still stalks the forests as part of national folklore, a relic of pagan imagination. In Western adaptations, it takes on new lives, a walking fortress, a time-warping refuge, a haunting echo of the old world. One of the most striking appearances is in the film Hellboy, Rise of the Blood Queen, where the hut creaks and groans across a barren landscape, its legs bending like skeletal trees. In John Wick, the name Baba Yaga is invoked as a symbol of unstoppable, supernatural force, proof that her legend has crossed into entirely new mythologies. In video games, the hut walks again, literally. In The Witcher 3, Black Book, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and Slavic-themed indie games, players encounter reimaginings of the hut as both adversary and guide, blending horror with reverence. Its creaking wooden limbs have become a visual shorthand for ancient elemental magic. Artists, too, have been captivated. Painters and illustrators reimagine the hut in every style, from surreal dreamscapes to gothic horror, from watercolor fairy tales to dark modern realism. In digital art, it rises like a deity of decay and rebirth, rooted in folklore, yet rendered with futuristic beauty. Even music and theater pay homage. Russian composers like Mussorgsky, in his Pictures at an Exhibition, created movements inspired by the hut on fowl's legs, a musical tribute that transforms the strange structure into sound itself, as if it were walking through the orchestra. Modern musicians and storytellers draw upon Baba Yaga's imagery to evoke themes of feminine power, transformation, and the untamed spirit. The hut has become a symbol not just of fear, but of independence and mystery, an emblem of wild wisdom that defies the modern world's need for order and explanation. Across cultures, across media, Baba Yaga's hut continues to move through stories, screens, and songs. It is no longer bound to one forest or one people. It walks in our collective imagination now, reshaped by every artist who dares to follow its tracks. And no matter how many times it appears, one truth remains. Each new retelling adds to its legend, but none can claim to understand it fully. For Baba Yaga's hut, like the witch herself, will always walk ahead of comprehension, forever between worlds, forever alive. So what is Baba Yaga's hut? Truly? A house? A creature? A doorway between worlds? Perhaps it is all of these, an ancient enigma born from the heart of the forest itself. It moves with purpose yet follows no path. It obeys no master, but one. Some say it is a reflection of Baba Yaga's soul, shaped from the wild earth and the restless spirits that wander it. Others believe it is the forest incarnate, testing all who dare to trespass within its sacred bounds. No one can say for certain where the hut truly dwells. It may stand hidden in the birch woods of Russia, or among the misty pines of Poland, or deep in the Carpathian Mountains, where the world still feels ancient. Yet perhaps it exists everywhere that the forest remains untamed. Generations have passed, kingdoms have fallen, cities have risen, but still, the legend endures. The stories change, yet the essence remains. A witch, her wandering home, and the thin veil that separates the mortal world from the unknown. Baba Yaga herself cannot be confined to one meaning. She is not the wicked witch of Western fairy tales. She is something older, a keeper of balance, a guardian of thresholds, a force of transformation. She destroys, yes, but she also renews. Those who face her and survive do not leave unchanged. Her cruelty is a test, her kindness, a riddle. She is both creation and chaos, the eternal reminder that life and death dance in the same circle. And her hut, her strange, impossible walking hut, is the vessel of that truth. It does not wait for heroes or villains. It waits for the curious, for those brave or desperate enough to seek meaning in the heart of the dark. When night falls and the wind moans through the trees, the villagers say the forest moves. They see faint lights in the distance, ghostly fires flickering between the trunks. They hear the soft creak of timbers, the thud of enormous claws in the soil, and a shadow shifting just beyond sight. Those who listen closely swear they can hear it, the sound of the hut walking. Step by step, slow, patient, searching. And if the forest ever grows too still, if the air grows thick and cold and a voice in the wind seems to whisper your name, be careful where you turn. You might find her door waiting for you, facing forward this time. The forest still whispers her name, Baba Yaga. So tell me, would you dare to knock on her door?
Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.